we've travelled all the way down to Bavaria in the southeast of Germany. Long old drive. We've come from the north, we've been pike fishing in the north, and about nearly a 700-mile journey south. First night on the lake though, it's well worth it. We've had a lovely fish here, great start actually. I'll show you this one. We had 2 fish, 2 mirrors, £30 and a quarter, and this beauty which is 52 and a quarter. Both on the Scopex squid, this one in about 15 foot, close to an island. Well, I couldn't wish for a better start really. Absolutely fantastic stuff. Beautiful German mirror. Whew, and it's just the start of the trip, so hopefully a few more like this, but cracking fish to get the ball rolling. Brilliant stuff. Right, this is close to one of the spots I'm fishing. Hasn't actually produced much this rod yet, but I'm hoping that later in the week it's going to produce. And what you can see there was quite a clear area, but it's coming into a fair bit of weed right now, and it starts to shallow up here. It comes up onto a plateau which is very weedy, and I'm fishing in, well, I've got the baits in little sort of clear areas amongst the weed in about 15 foot. You can see it's coming up there, it gradually shows up. I mean, it comes all the way up to about 7 foot, but it gradually comes up there. I'll just go in a little bit if I can. Yeah, about 15 foot right there. Just like the oars in the way. You can see there's a lot of weed coming up there. It's quite thick, the weed here, but obviously the carp love being around that anyway and in it. First fish I caught was around this area, literally just going past the marker, and you can see what I mean there. There's thick weed, but in between it there's little gaps, and that's what I'm trying to find. I'm sort of donking the lead around, feeling for those hard spots in between the weed. And when I fished here last year, that was the sort of areas that did all the fish, or most of the fish, and that hasn't really happened this time, but I'm still expecting it to do good things later in the week. Maybe not in numbers of fish, but it could still do hopefully a big fish or two, but we'll see. I'll just go back out a bit. Right, while I'm here, I'll just show you the rig. Simple enough stuff. That's £35 missing link silk, quite a big lead, 8-ounce tractor lead there, just for holding it still in those little tiny gaps that I'm fishing in the weed. I want the rig to stay in place. I don't want it pulling back into the weed, so quite a heavy lead. Now the hook bait, it's a snowman setup, but the bottom bait is an amber strawberry, which is air dried rock hard. I used these at Cassian earlier in the year, and I've just left them in my tackle bag and almost forgot about them actually, but there's a few crayfish and little fish out here eating the baits, and they're a bit of a nuisance, but I managed to dig out these amber strawberries, which are absolutely rock hard, having to drill them out, and they're perfect. They're staying on, just as hook baits. And like I say, it's a little snowman setup. The pop-ups, they don't seem to bother eating the pop-ups much, so they're fine. And if we come down here just to the freebies, I'm only using boilies, and I've got a mixture in there of monster squid, purple and red, and Scopex squid as well, all different sizes. And I'm just throwing all of those, putting quite a bit of bait out each time, a few kilos out over each hook bait, but quite a lot of that's getting eaten by the crays, and there's a fair few bream and roach and stuff in here. They're eating it as well. So, but the carp are certainly getting their heads down on it, but I'm giving them plenty of that. Now there's one little tip for people travelling away here, is that keeping bait fresh is always a problem whenever you go away. Air drying's all right, it does work well, but you need time, you need the right conditions. So what I've done this time is actually salted the baits, and all I've done is snip the corner of each bag of boilies and pour a load of salt in. I mean, it's only cheap as anything salt, so I've just poured loads in, And I don't know if you can actually pick that up, but what happens over each of the baits, where they're slightly damp, they get a coating of salt. The salt actually sticks to the outside of the bait, and it preserves them perfectly. They don't go as rock hard as when you air dry them, but they stay fresh, they smell good. And you know, I've been out of the country for a couple of weeks now, where I've been pike fishing and so forth, so I've had to keep these baits for quite a while, and they're as fresh as anything and working really well. So it's one good little tip for going away: salt the baits up. There we go. I'm just about to drop this rig anyway, and well, see if we can get a fish on it. Okie dokie, let's see what happens. Bit lively this one, so I don't know quite what's going to happen. But I see a group of fish showing further up the lake yesterday, the last couple of days in fact, and tried a couple of spots around where they were. We ended up putting in deeper water, about 23 foot. Found a little firm spot down in 23 foot. And the baits were getting eaten by smaller fish and crayfish. I had some old amber strawberries that I had at Cassian earlier in the year. They were absolutely rock hard, air dried, and drilled them out, and that's what I had this fish on. I've had two commons from that spot since yesterday afternoon, 23 pounder, and this one which was 35 and a quarter, both on the amber strawberries and both in the deeper water, so might be a bit of a clue to what's happening here. We'll see. Also had a mirror yesterday afternoon in 15 foot, so I don't really know, but they're certainly getting down in the deeper water, so we'll see what happens. But different spot, different hook baits, and two commons. The others have been mirrors, and they've got a couple of commons. Well, bit lively, so ooh, there we go. Lovely fish, absolutely cracking fish, so that'll do nicely. It's been a blowy old day today. Last couple of days actually. It's been quite windy, a lot of rain, and good carp conditions, I suppose. The trouble is getting the rods out when it's this windy. It's just calmed down a little bit, which is why I'm doing this now. Lost one about 3/4 of an hour ago. It's the first fish I've lost actually. Just a hook pull. As soon as I picked up the rod, it was just on for a couple of seconds and fell off. You know, it happens every now and then. Not much you can do about that. But other than that, it's been going all right. I've 8 runs, steady action. Something's happened every day. Sort of basically a couple of runs a day. 7 fish and lost one. Up to 52 and a quarter so far. Still got 3 nights left. This is Wednesday afternoon now, so Wednesday night, Thursday night, Friday night. It's quite noticeable that the action sort of comes within about 4 or 5 hours of putting the baits out. And there's lots of little hungry mouths out there, roach and bream, crayfish, and you know they seem to wipe the bait out after so many hours. So I haven't had many early morning bites, only one first morning, and basically I do the baits in the afternoon or evening, and by the following morning most of it's been wiped out. I've got hard hook baits on, which is solving that problem, but the rest of the bait's gone, and you know, a single hook bait don't seem to be that attractive to them. So you know, what I'm doing really is doing the rods about midday, and like, you know, which is what I did today and got an afternoon bite. Other than that, I'll do them in the evening, so you know, get a bit of action early evening. But yeah, still time. Not many, you know, I had bigger fish when I fished here last year. I had a bigger average weight of fish. Getting smaller fish this year, but you know, who knows what's around the corner. 3 days left, so anything could happen, and hopefully it will. We'll see, but you know, action every day, so getting a bend in the rod every day, so you know, as long as I'm catching fish I'm quite happy, and hopefully one of them will be one of the big ones. So far so good. We'll keep doing what we do, and see if we can get one of the big ones. Nice 31 pound mirror. Came from, I just moved a rod actually. Been a quiet night. Had one little baby catfish in the night, and the other rods didn't produce anything. So a couple of days ago I'd seen some fish jumping on a little spot closer in, and I'd baited it up yesterday, and thought it was the ideal time to put a rod on there really. Baited it up with about a kilo or two of Scopex squids. So I put a single Scopex squid out over where I'd baited, and well, that was only about 3 hours ago. And out of the blue, just making a cup of tea, off it went. There we go, nice afternoon surprise. Well pleased. Time to get him back, I think. Absolutely cracking evening out here. We've had some rough weather this week. Plenty of winds, loads of rain, absolutely loads of rain the last few days. But now it looks absolutely fantastic. Lovely flat calm. And I've seen in the last 20 minutes, I've seen some good fish crashing out there. Quite a long way out, but that's where my baits are. I'm fishing a fair way up the lake there. I'll try, probably too dark to zoom in. I'll see if I can just zoom in on my marker. If I can find my marker, that is. Where are we? It's up there somewhere. There's the trees. And yeah, I think that's probably, yeah, just there. Just see me little orange H block. That's how far I'm fishing up the lake. Fair old way up there. I've got one on that side of the lake on the left and one on the right, and an absolute donkey of a fish leapt virtually 3/4 of its body out of the water about 15 minutes ago, right in between the two baits, mid-water. So if it goes left or right, could be in for a good one tonight. Certainly looking good for a bite or two anyway. These are just about perfect conditions. I mean, like I say, we've had a lot of wind and rain, and it's really when it's calmed down like this, when the rain stopped and the wind's dropped, that's when we've had the bites. So it's looking pretty good for it at the moment, but whatever happens, it's a lovely evening. Nice to be out here when it's like this. Be even better with a fish, of course. It's Thursday morning, and literally just had this fish, and would you believe, same fish as what I caught on the first day, 52.10, so it's 6 ounces up on the capture a few days ago. So it's been out there eating a bit of bait that I put out, same spot, same rod, a bit deeper this time, 25 foot. I couldn't believe it when it was the same fish. Knew it was a good one. But funny enough, I fished 1 week last year here, and we're halfway through another week, and it's the third time I've caught this fish, so he certainly likes me. 3 captures in a week and a half. Bit of a friendly one this, but well, I think it's still nice to get a bit of action. Not keen on recaptures obviously, but there we go. You can only reel them in when they're on the end, so you don't pick and choose what they are. There we go, he's had enough, so we're getting back. Thank you, old friend. So that's what the sun looks like. Had rain all day today. It's the first bit of sunshine we've seen. Right on last knockings. Probably have about 10 minutes of that, but there we go. Better than nothing. Near enough packing up time now. But one more fish. There were so many fish showing out there over the spots that one of them had to go sooner or later, and this one did. It was the same rod that I had the Thursday morning fish on in 25 foot. This one's 38.5. All the fish are down in weight a bit, so I'm guessing it would normally be a 40, but no problem. Nice mirror. Nice way to finish the trip. We've got to start packing up soon and make the long journey back home to England once again. Usual routine. But no problem, you know, when you've had a nice trip and a nice few fish, it makes the journey home a lot easier. And if this is the last one, then it's a nice way to finish. So there we go. See you next time anyway.